Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. You tuned to the Madam President Morning Show. Thank you so much for your patience. I literally had a doctor's appointment this morning, so I apologize. First of all, I just would like to say happy freaking Tuesday. I mean, the year's just getting away from us. It's already March, um, first week of March, and we're headed into the second week. All right, so let's get into it. I saw a few articles that I genuinely wanted to bring to your attention. That I felt like I got a lot of thoughts surrounding this. But before I go any further, really quickly, let me play my theme song. I'm going to get it together, y'all. It's Tuesday and all is well. Um, don't forget to let me know where you're from in the chat. Let me play my theme song though. Hey, yes, thank you, William, so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for not allowing me to let prayer slip through the cracks. Before we go any further, let me say a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for blessing us with this day. You knew that this day would come. We appreciate you. Thank you for seeing it fit for us to be a part of this day. We ask for your continuous peace, for your love, for your direction. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. Thank you, William. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I had a lot going on. I didn't get a lot of rest. I don't know. What do you all do for rest? Because I did not get a lot of rest. And I would like to think that I'm going to always get a great amount of rest, but I did not. I did not rest extremely well, but I'm hoping you did. I got Dorian here from Dayton, Ohio. What's up, Dorian from Ohio? Woo! I know a lot of folks from Ohio because I went to school in Kentucky. Did you all know that? I went to school in Kentucky. I went to a HBCU called Kentucky State University. It's in Frankfort, Kentucky, and it's actually the capital of Kentucky. Most people probably believe that Louisville, Kentucky is the capital, or Lexington, and it is not. It's a small town titled Frankfort. Kentucky State University also was a place for teachers at one point. A lot of teachers used to attend the institution of Kentucky State because, of course, our institutions were created, and this is so appropriate talking about education, talking about my own education. But our institutions were created very intentionally. When you think about Tuskegee University, their agricultural landscape, it's from, a standpoint of Booker T having the mindset of do for self, as well as Fisk University, one of my favorite philosophers and theology people will be W.B. Du Bois, who's the founder of Fisk University, which I believe probably leaned toward uh, engineering. I'm not sure, but um, all that to say that it's always a pleasure to be amongst my people every chance that I get. I love being Black. I think that I don't think you all understand how beautiful it is to be Black. I think about how resilient we are as a people. And that doesn't mean that I want us to endure suffering. I don't think that we have to endure suffering, but we're just such a beautiful people. My sister, in general, thinking about beautiful, I have a sister um, that I grew up with on my father's side who mother was, on drugs for many years, and she was in foster care. I hope she don't mind me being authentic and telling her story, but her mother was on drugs for many years, and she was in foster care when we were growing up, and my father would pick her up some weekends and all of that, and she would go to her foster place, and I would see her, and all that to say that she has a daycare, and she has a daycares. Let me put plural, make that plural. She has multiple daycares, and she makes great money in these business adventures, in the daycare industry. But I want to tell you that no matter the childhood that she had growing up, she treats children so beautifully. And she is so considerate to children, so kind. She blesses the children that's a part of her daycare. And I was hanging out with her probably about a year ago, and we were laughing, and we had these big laughs. We actually look alike. I will, if you follow me on Instagram, I'll show you a picture. But we had these big laughs, and we was just talking. And I looked at her and I said, you're just such a happy person. You have every right to walk this world angrily. You have every right to walk the world distressed, upset, and bitter, but you do not. I mean, she tells the story about when she had her first child. She birthed her child alone in a hospital. She told me the story. She said, when I had my daughter, I birthed my daughter, alone in a hospital. Um, all that to say, I'm not trying to, cue the violin. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just really trying to get people to see how beautiful they are as Black folks, how difficult and how challenging life could be. What? My dog is acting crazy. What? How difficult and challenging life could be. However, that doesn't interfere with how beautiful we are, how we perceive joy, how we navigate through life. Okay. All right. So let's move on. My dog, his name is Mandela. Mandela, please. He's literally going from window to window, and I think he sees a bird or something. That's why he's like, he think it's time to play and have a good time. Anyways, as we move forward, I just want to read to you what's currently going on in the education sector. As we talk about education, most folks with any form of education, post high school education, you know that school was expensive if you didn't have any kind of scholarship, if you took out loans, and all those different things. So here's what's being said currently right now about having too much education. I'm going to share my screen with you all because you know my motto, don't take my word for it. All right.
Average
Right here.
unemployed if they get laid off, lose their job, or if they just graduate from college.
All right, before I play the audio, I want you to see that it says unemployed. New research shows the more education you have, the longer you will be out of work if laid off. Advanced degrees average about 18 weeks, while no degree average 8 weeks. Now, um, let's finish reading. According to government data, Business Insider reveals that those with advanced degrees, masters, doctorates, PhDs, are now more likely to be unemployed than those who did not go to college. The average time of unemployment for graduates with master's and doctoral degrees have quadrupled in 2 years, approaching 18 weeks, double that of workers without a degree. Business Insider points to globalization, employers hiring without degree requirements, and AI as a major contributing factor. Let's get into this. This is big news. And the reason that this is big news because this is really um, I don't know if you have a degree or not, but if you have a degree, please put degree in the chat. I want to hear from you. If you have a degree, put degree in the chat. I would like to hear from you. If you have a degree, put degree in the chat. I would like to hear from you. I'm saying this because it is a testament. This is what is happening right now. This is a reflection and a testament that the system is continuously lying. There's no reason that you tell people in order to be employable, you have to have all this education only, only to lie and then determine that no, I really don't want to hire anyone with all that education because I do not want to pay them. That's the real reason. They do not want to pay overqualified people um, in this educational field, which means I can guarantee you some people are probably taking off their master's degrees and taking off their doctorate degrees, doctoral degrees, and just probably putting their bachelor degrees on their resume just for employment purposes if they are not gainfully employed. This is a problem. And I'm gonna tell you something. Those of you who are in the chat, and I see that you put degree. I think one of the biggest issues in the arena of education is, we don't want to regulate it. I remember working precisely, working a job. You work next to folks who don't have an education, and it's just like, well, what the hell I go to school for? Well, why did they want me to have all of this if there really wasn't a necessity? And then we need to talk about just having the specific education that is geared toward a not broad, not a sociology degree or a business degree, but maybe something more specific like accounting, specific like I am a speech pathologist. Although that is it requires higher education. The doctoral degree path, it also makes your niche, very slim. So, this is a problem because, and also I believe one of the issues is what I find in the education space is there's a lot of lenience. People have abused the education space. When I say that out of love. I don't say it from a place of I think that, when I say that people have abused the education space, I don't say it from a place, like I don't want to give educators a hard time. But I was in college. I've been to college. I've been on the college campus, and I remember how, the dean of students treated the ones that they like, treated the ones who, you know, had, parents that can come and advocate, parents that can write checks. You know, it's a shitty game. In some cases, it's just a shitty game, but you have to play it. That's the hard part. And I tell people this all the time, specifically young people. The game could be rigged, but you still got to play it. You got to play it, and you got to play it. Um, so, with that being said, the challenging part about being educated is that I've been in spaces where if you're too educated, they, have a problem with you. If you don't have any education, they have a problem with you. There's always this fence that you're straddling when in reality, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. And the reason that I'm going to say that it's bullshit is because of this article right here. Take a look at this. Oh, don't forget, you tuned to the Fly Nubian Money um, program. This is brought to you by Fly Nubian Money. And when you want to get your mind up, you should start with flynubianmoney.com. When you want to get your money up, you should start with flynubianmoney.com. This is where you go when you want to grow. Text Queens to 87948 if you want to keep up with Madam President, to see what's going on next, to see when I'm speaking, when I'm doing something, when I'm going live. Text Madam, MADAM, to 87948. Yeah, I want to show you this right here, this particular story. All right. If you can see it, put Linda in the chat. If you can see it, put Linda in the chat. If you can see it, put Linda in the chat. If you can see it, put Linda in the chat. Linda, 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 Linda. All right. Hopefully you can see it. And I just want to, this is my proof that it's a bullshit game that they play. Here it is. This is the wife of, billionaire WWE owner. All right. Vince Mahan. I don't remember, guys. Vince Mahan. All right, was just confirmed by the Senate to be the head of the Department of Education. So Linda McMahon, I don't know if it's Mahan or Mahone, but Linda, she was just advised, she was just confirmed by the Senate to be the head of the Department of Education. McMahon, oh my God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you willing to correct me and not just talk about me. You know how the internet does. Oh, this person can't read, can't write. I don't know. Sometimes some things don't always appear to be what they are. Thank you. McMahon. All right. So Linda McMahon, wife of WWE billionaire Vince McMahon, was just confirmed by the Senate to be the head of the Department of Education. Thank you so much. We don't want McMahon taking me out for the count. So here's my thing. Here's the point that I want to make regarding this. My dog, I don't know if he needs to go outside. This is Mandela, ladies and gentlemen. Mandela, can I please give me a second? So the point that I'm trying to make is, you have a person who's literally the owner of the WWE. That's like, well, we're going to make her the Department of Education, secretary of the Department of Education. Now, think about this. All the times you wanted to achieve something, somebody wanted you to have all these different requirements. They said, oh, you need this. Oh, you need that. Or you can't do this. You can't do that. Well, in reality, this is what's happening on a national level. People are being appointed into positions just off of mere likability. But I've read the articles. I've done the research. Guess what the research states? The research states that most promotion comes from being liked. It does not state that most promotion come from skill set. It states that most promotion comes from being liked. That means that you have to be liked by your employer, by your supervisor, by your manager in order to be promoted. You get what I'm saying? So many of you ramming your head in the wall wondering why you can't get a promotion. Because you ain't going around there, sniffing ass and doing all that other weird shit just to be liked. You're actually doing your job. And people have a problem with that too. You come in there, you do your job, and then they want you to fucking come and, sing your reels and want to get to know you and start talking about, your family and shit, just so they can be all in your business and still don't like you. This is let me tell you something. The game that we play in this country is dirty work. Okay? I get that from the fellas. They be online telling me, oh, that's dirty work. It makes me laugh a little bit because a friend of mine was telling me about the people who have had the privilege to visit Asada Shakur. There's different groups and organizations that, love Asada and, will do anything just to sit at her feet. All that to say that they don't visit Asada much anymore. You have a hostile government, you know, it changes things. But something one of them I heard them say, or a friend of mine shared with me, that Asada used to, when people used to come and visit her, she used to ask them, well, what's the lingo? What are the kids saying? And whatever the kids were saying, that's what she would like to hear about. And it warms my heart. I'm a fan of Asada. So education. You see what's happening. Too much of it is a problem, not enough of it is a problem. But let me tell you something really quickly. I'm really chill today, but I want to say this to my people, my Black people that are in management, my Black people that are in a position to give people raises, my Black people that are in position to uplift and hire other Black people. Stop being harmful to Black people. Stop being harmful in general, but stop thinking that Black people's ability for promotion has to come from pain and suffering. This is one of the reasons that he is appointing whoever he wants. It's because they don't consider having to put each other through suffering to achieve something. And this is something that we suffer at as a people. We believe, oh, you want to, and this is the same thing, these transactional relationships where you feel like you got to get something out of the deal. I had an assistant, my favorite assistant, her. She comes, and I remember I wanted her on a job, and the job was like, well, we're giving you a lot of money. I said, well, give me less money because I want her on the team. And in that moment, um, I took a pay cut. And the job, they could have possibly made it work without giving me a pay cut. But guess what? I took the pay cut because I wanted her to have some of the money. That was important to me, to have her as my support and for her to have a way to take care of herself. So, what we fail to realize is sometimes elevation and promotion means that you have to give up something. We don't remember that enough. We think that we gotta hold on to everything. Oh, I gotta hold on. I'm listening to folks talk about I need a bunch of money. You don't even have a lot of bills. You want a bunch of money so you can consume. You can buy as many bags as you want to. I want you to have your bags, girl. I really do. But I want your children to be well, not just in a financial space, but in a mental space. I don't want you to have a closet full of bags and a bunch of daughters with low self-esteem. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't want you to have a closet full of shoes and the kind of daughters that let people walk all over them. That doesn't make sense to me. I want you to have your shit in order on the inside so everything on the outside can reflect that. It ain't that hard once you get into that real work. Some things don't even bother me because God had told me that ain't your tribe, that ain't your people, that ain't your currency. I ain't told y'all on several occasions, God is not impressed by currency. He don't care what you got, pesos. He don't care if you got American dollars, pesos. He don't care if you got weight. He don't care if you have, what's the European dollar? What's the European dollar? I was just in Paris. I can't even remember euros. The creator is not impressed by that. His currency is people. God currency is people. How do you handle my money? Yep, you're right, euros. So if you ever want to be impressive to the creator, it won't be how much money you make in your lifetime. It would be how many lives you change. That's just me. I'm dropping gems. All right. The next thing is we're gonna move on to this right here. This story I found to be very interesting, and I'll share this with you. If you can see this, put Denmark in the chat. If you can see this, put Denmark in the chat. If you can see this, put Denmark in the chat. What's up, Deborah? Good morning, my girl. Good to see you. All right, so let me share with you what they're saying about the children in Denmark. European country, Denmark, to ban cell phones in schools, citing a study that shows the use of phones in schools harms students' grades and mental health. Let's continue reading. Should the United States do this? Of course. Denmark is set to ban smartphones in schools and after school clubs. The education minister announced the move on Tuesday following recommendations from a group formed by the government to look at children's well being. Although many schools in the UK have rules banning smartphones, they are not banned by law. Scotland, England, Northern Ireland all have guidance for schools about phone use. For full details have not been released by the Danish government. And a ban would mean mobile phones and personal tablets will not be allowed at schools, neither during break times or during lessons. The plan follows recommendations from a youth well-being commission, which also recommend restricting the use of the smartphones to those aged 13 and older. I'm sorry, but I love this. I love this idea. I love this concept. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. I have never seen dumb children with smartphones. And I know that some of you all are going to be offended because I call children dumb, but it's the parents that's cultivating the culture of here, take the phone, take the phone, take the phone, take the phone, take the phone. When I was growing up, our parents wanted us to have better skills than just use of the phone. Even when computers came around, they said, what are you doing with that computer? You got your face in that computer? And I'm sorry, just the fattest kids on the planet, they don't want to go outside. The kids don't want to go outside. They don't want to play. They don't want to go outside. You know, they have the use of words. They like, oh, I just have these social. Get your ass outside. I would tell a kid, get outside. Go. Go outside. Have a good time. I don't know what advised you that you can't go outside. The kids are glued. They're glued to TV. They're glued to the phone. Neurologically, you know, the shit ain't even good for them. They do have underdeveloped brains that's becoming developed, and the consistent use of the phone. I mean, it's to the I do not get, you know, I will say I get parenting is tough, but I do understand that parenting is tough and that you do try to find ways to have your children to, you know, have some time where they are just engaged and leaving you the hell alone. That's understood, but it's becoming so frequent, you know, that the child doesn't know how to behave when he or she doesn't have a screen. That's extremely unhealthy. I think in America, you know, our children are too distracted. Education is so important. My partners sometimes talk to um, like I would hear the conversation, and it's like the all that. This is what I want to say. I want to say that because I want to say this. I want to be gentle with children. I have never had a child. So that's one of the things sometimes my mother tells me I'm a little bit disconnected in this space. And so I want to be gentle with parents and children because it's important. So what I will say is this right here. What you do often, you do well. So the reason that the children do the phones very well is because they do it very often. If the children was reading at the capacity that they are on the phone, then they will read very well. If the children was writing at the capacity that they're on the phone, then they will write very well. If the children was doing math at the capacity that they're on the phone, then they would do math very well. If the children was learning a different language at the capacity that they're on the phone, then they will be polyglots. It will not be a problem. If the children could replace the phone time with other things, they will be excellent. But guess what? We got to do it too. That is the hard part about the parenting is that you have to be that thing that you're trying to get this little person to become. And the more you're not that thing that little person that you're trying to get that little person to become, it's going to be hard for them to become that thing. In order for your children to have an interest in reading, they have to see you reading. We should read together. It's reading time. Come on, bring that book over here. It's time to read. I don't want to give you all a hard time because I'm able to, because I don't have children. I don't want to give you a hard time because, it's not my world, you know. But I do believe, this is why I believe wholeheartedly. I don't believe there's a single mother on the world. It ain't no single mother in this world without a single daddy somewhere. People be walking around talking about single mama. She a single, she a baby mama, and he a baby daddy. She ain't make this baby by herself. Not one time. She ain't walking around here pregnant by herself. If you start putting some of that pressure on the men about how they handle the seeds that they plant, the way you want to put the pressure on the woman because she can't abandon her seed the same. So you go around online, the brothers, I'm talking to the brothers, I love you and I care about you. But I got to tell you, you go online, and this is for the brothers who's on that, she a baby mama movement. She a single mom. Yeah, but you playing basketball with her, with the father who won't see his children. You've given him a brotherly embrace and given her a hard time. That's a problem. You giving him a brotherly dap. What's up, man? What's going on? I gonna see you at the cookout. And she's the only one thinking about how the children gonna eat. But then you go online and you give her a hard time. That's not good. That's not good. This is one of the reasons, I'm really big on us having intentional, I don't want to say us having intentional sex because that feels very much like, I'm trying to make people, like, you know what? Let me not say that I'm trying to make people controlling. I wish upon people that they had the understanding that they could choose their life. We just like, oh, it's just for the vibes. The vibes. The vibes got you herpes, sis. The vibes got you HIV positive. But okay, the vibes. The vibes. I'm going to have you thinking about every time you lay down because it's important. Eartha Kitt said, she said I had men that was willing to lay me down, but not many that were open to lifting me up. Come on now, let me tell you something. Sex been the same since the 1600s, the 1500s. Your vagina, penis, all of that. It ain't no difference when you gonna have some discipline behind it. Some discipline behind your sex life. Yes, I want you to have protected sex. I want you to have sex with the lights on. I want you to make folks look at you. This ain't no mistake. You ain't fooling me. You ain't finessing me. I want this. You ain't no stranger to me. I want that kind of healthiness with your daughters so they won't walk around depleted 24 and feeling distraught all the time because they have never been introduced to love properly, never seen it with their mother and their father. I was even thinking about that. I don't have one picture where my mother and my father are present together. I don't have one picture where it's me, my mother, and my father. My father's dead. He's been dead since I've been 10. I am 39 years old. I don't have one picture with me, my mother, and my father. But people will convince you that it's all about the vibes. All right, guys, that's my time. I really appreciate you. Don't forget, you're tuned to the Madam President Morning Show. Um, and I do this every Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Mandela has been wearing me out. He's trying to go to the bathroom, and I have to let him go. But before I go, I want you all to make sure that you follow me. I want you to go to my store. I created a store. I want you to support my store. Go to it any chance that you get time. It's Stan Store and then / Madam President. Um, if you want the book Matters of the Heart, it's downloadable on my Stan Store. At my Stan Store, it's available. It's downloadable, and yeah, if you want to support the Freedom Company, feel free to support the Freedom Company at www.thefreedom.company. Yeah. Some of my sisters are in here saying, Kendra says, think first. Do you really like this person? Is he or she someone that you want to be a parent of your child? I stress this with my sons. That's a good question. We don't really talk about sexual discipline in the Black community, but it's very important. And I'm not trying to pretend as if sex isn't a good time and we ain't having fun and people don't enjoy it. Yeah, it's enjoyable. But there still has to be maturity, emotional maturity. There has to be, safety. Some folks just young. I went one time, and I'm about to go for real this time, but I'm going to tell you this story really quickly. Um, when I went to speak at a school, I was speaking to 8th graders. The teacher was telling me about the children. This was an inner city Chicago school. The teacher was telling me about the children, and she was telling me that, the girls are sexually active. They were in 8th grade. She said the girls are sexually active. Some of them can't even read. So there is a correlation between reading, comprehension, literacy, and sexual maturity. A lot of people won't have that conversation. I don't care who the rapper is. If he ain't reading, if he ain't writing, it ain't no way you should feel like you won riding that ride. because he's illiterate. And I don't care how many chains he got and how much money he has. That is not wealth. Wealth is not being illiterate. So, yes, I want us to have, it's like I want us to understand that our life doesn't just happen. We can have a lot of plans for it, but we have to have the emotional maturity and the discipline to have it. You see people in African culture that come over here to America. I met a guy, he went to Morehouse. He says that, yeah, my grandmother told me I was going to be a doctor. I didn't really, think I was going to be a doctor. I she determined who was going to be what, and I just became it. That's how it works. People be like, you can't tell me what to do with my life. You've been doing what you want to do with your life your entire for the last 20 years. You have not made the best choices, and you have been fully responsible for those choices. When you going to come to the realization that you don't make good choices? When are you going to come to that realization that if you put a bad choice in front of you and a good choice, your heart and your mind leans toward that bad choice more frequently than not? When will you come to that realization? I don't know. It's up to you. You tell me when you're going to come to it, you know? But this is the Madam President store right here. Feel free to um, have a time of your life. Download, buy, sign up. I would like for you all to sign up for my ebook. Um, I want your emails. That's basically what's happening. People are teaching me, you got to get emails. You got to get people to keep up with you. So I just sent it in the chat. Feel free. Um, I don't know if that's it, but I sent it. I'm going to allow you all to have a great day. I hope that it's good to you. I appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow, okay? All right. Have a good day.